if a Filipino citizen is killed by a willful act, and therefore we will respond accordingly.
Pagbabantayan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa China pag may namatay tayong sundalo o Pilipino sa West Philippine Sea. Walang katakot-takot yan, sinabi ni PBBM sa harap ng milyong-milyong nanonood sa telebisyon. Tanong kasi kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, papaano kung may masawi man dahil sa pagwawater cannon ng China? Malaking gyera raw yan. At tinitiyak ni PBBM na kahit maliit tayong bansa, pagsisisihan ng China ang makipagyera sa Pilipinas. World peace ang pangunahing layunin ni PBBM sa Shangri-La Dialogue sa Singapore, pero hindi isinasantabi nito ang paghahanda sa digmaan. Ito na ata ang pinakamabigat at diretsahang pagbabanta ni PBBM laban sa ilang ulit ng pagwa-water cannon attack ng China Coast Guard.
President Marcos, I'm going to ask you a very direct question, if you don't mind, which is, if Chinese Coast Guard water cannons killed a Filipino sailor, would that cross a red line? And then can you also give us a sense of what are the actions that would trigger a request from Manila to Washington to invoke the U.S.-Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty?
To work for peace, prepare for war. And it is an unfortunate truth. But what would happen if there was an incident that ended up killing a Filipino serviceman, be they a Coast Guard or in the military and part of the Navy? Well, that would be that would certainly increase the level of response, and if by a willful act on a Filipino, not only serviceman, but even a Filipino citizen, if a Filipino citizen is killed by a willful act, that is, I think, very, very close to what we define as an act of war, and therefore we will respond accordingly. And our treaty partners, I believe, also hold that same standard for when the actions, with the joint action, will be undertaken in support of any such incident in the Philippines. We already have suffered injury, but thank God we have not yet gotten to the point where any of our participants, civilian or otherwise, have been killed. But once we get to that point, that is certainly, we would have crossed the Rubicon, certainly crossed the Rubicon. Is that a red line? Almost certainly it's going to be a red line.